In fantasy football, you're always looking for an edge, especially when it comes to the running back position. I think I found one key stat that we might be able to hone in on these rookie players coming out of college that could help us project on who could be a top 36 running back in fantasy football. We're talking about yards per reception. Now, if we let's just take a chart here. Let me throw up here. Here is our top 36 from this last season, and you look, there's only 4 players, 4 out of the top 36 that didn't have a yards per reception over 8. We're talking about 89% of the people last year who was in the top 36 had at least an 8 yards per reception during their college career. Guys, we're talking about only Raheem Mostert, Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, and Ezekiel Elliott. Those 4 didn't have over 8 yards per reception in their college career. And other than that, everybody else top 36. Guys, it doesn't stop there. Let's move right back here to 2022. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players out of the top 36 in 2022. Well, they didn't have 8 yards per reception. Everybody else had at least 8 yards per reception. That's 86% of the people in the top 36 had at least 8 yards per reception in college football. And we always like to do things in threes on Bayou Bengal Fantasy Network. So why not? Let's just take a look at 2021. Let's throw up those numbers and look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, again, did not have 8 yards per reception in their college career. Everyone else in the top 36, 86% of them had at least 8 yards per reception in college football. So what do we want to do with this information? Well, let's go ahead and look at the rookies that are coming out in college football right now with at least 8 yards per reception. Marshawn Lloyd, Jawar Jordan, Jonathan Brooks, Trey Benson, Audric Estime, Jace McClellan, Dejuan Edwards, Frank Gore Jr., Roman Hemby, Kendall Milton, Carson Steele, Blake Watson, Bucky Irvin, Ray Davis, and Imani Bailey. These are the guys who at least averaged 8 yards per reception in college football. So we want to hone that in a little bit. I need to pick and choose some of these running backs that I believe could have some type of nice fantasy appeal for you to be able to draft. Let's just face it, this year is probably one of the worst running back classes that we've seen in quite a while. So we've got to be able to pick and choose these guys out of the bundle and say, okay, which one of these guys do we want to take a leap on to try to be success? Well, if we know it, if anything, in the top 36, there's a pretty good chance, at least we would say an 86% chance of them being in the top 36 eventually in fantasy football, as long as they have 8 yards per reception during their college career. So let's go ahead and look at some of these guys that I believe could be. I got 6 guys right here for you that I want you to look at that I would be targeting in fantasy rookie drafts. Look at Jonathan Brooks, averaging 12 yards per reception. Then I would say Bucky Irving, averaging 8.2. My next favorite, Audric Estime at 10.7. We've got Trey Benson at 11.6. Ray Davis, we got him at 8.2. And Marshawn Lloyd at 13.2. The biggest receiving guys, you want to say Jonathan Brooks was really good in receiving. Bucky Irving, he's athletic, elusive, electrifying. Audric Estime, you really didn't believe that he had a high yards per reception. He played at Notre Dame, didn't really play in an offense that really threw the football quite a bit. It was more of a running style of offense, and yet he still landed at 10.7 yards per reception. That's why I think he could be really, really special. I think I have some other videos talking about Audric Estime more in depth. Trey Benson, the running back out of Florida State, 11.6. I like him. Ray Davis out of Kentucky, 8.2. And then Marshawn Lloyd out of USC, another one, elusive type of running back, at 13.2. Other running backs that are notably, if you guys maybe those guys are taken, you want to take some stabs. Let's talk about Frank Gore Jr., Carson Steele, Jace McClellan. I like Kendall Milton out of Georgia. I think he could be a decent. Imani Bailey out of TCU. I think he could be a decent running back, to kind of take stabs on. These other guys, we're talking about Jawar Jordan. I would say Dejuan Edwards, Roman Hemby, and Blake Watson. I'd probably stay away from those guys, even though they did average over 8 yards per reception. I'm just looking at talent level overall and the film that I have watched. That's why I picked out 6 guys for you, and then maybe a couple other guys you might want to have on the back burner just in case. But these are the guys you want to kind of hone in on. There's a lot of players out here that you don't see on here, like Blake Corum and things like that. Maybe Braylon. None of these guys are on this list right now, but they didn't score over 8 yards per reception. That doesn't say that they can't make it into the top 36, but just look at the trends and you can see that as long as they score 8 yards per reception in college football, there's a good chance for them to be on the fantasy radar for you. Guys, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button, really close to 800 subscribers. I would really appreciate that. And leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about this? Have you guys heard that from anybody else about yards per reception? If so, leave it down below. Let me know what you think about it. Is it something that we want to listen to? Guys, can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.